What I've done is I've painted latex around my fingernails because I'm going to be doing some stamping, but I've based my fingernails with some PVA glue because I want this to be a peel-off colour. Excuse me, voice is a bit foggy this morning. So that's just been the total prep I've done. I haven't pushed back my cuticles or anything because I said this is a temporary one, just so that I can do a video, and I'm going to be peeling it off afterwards. And I don't like to push back cuticles too often, and I don't have an awful lot of cuticle on my nail anyway, so for demonstration purposes I haven't done that. Normally you would push back your cuticles, do all your normal prep work before starting this. So I've now got it to the stage where I can start applying colour. And what I want to do today is use some normal colours, and these are not gel polishes. So I have this one, and I can't tell you what colour it is because the bottle's not labelled with the colour, which is very strange, but it's a very nice, it's almost like a rose gold. So it's more pinky than browny, it's very pretty. And I have this one, which is a very bright raspberry pink. And I have a selection of other polishes there, and I'll show you as I go on. So I have a piece of latex sponge, cosmetic sponge, and this is what I'm going to be using to apply my polish. And I'm just going to loosen the caps of these. They have been shaken, so they should be all nicely mixed. And I'm just going to take an edge of this sponge and apply a couple of stripes of polish. So that's the rose gold, and put this one underneath like so. So there we go, just a few presses and it's done. The secret is not to overwork it. So here we go. Get it done as fast as you can and stop before you mess it up, which is what I should have done on this one and I didn't. There we are, so we have a gradient. Now you want to let that dry before you go any further. So this one I'm going to remove, and it's going to be easy to remove this because it's on a peel-off base. This is a very good reason for doing a peel-off base if you're experimenting. Right, so I've taken off the polish which was on the thumbnail, and I'm just going in with some of my PVA glue to give myself a peel-off base coat. Now the peel-off base coat works better when your nail is actually dry and the varnish has actually had time to solidify, just in case you're wondering. Okay, so that's what it looks like, and I just have to wait until that dries before I can do any more colour. I'm doing a peel off for this because my husband would go absolutely bonkers if I kept this kind of nail polish on my nails. He hates nail polish to start with, and this would absolutely drive him crazy. So I'm just going to wait for this to dry, and then I'll come back and redo my thumbnail in exactly the same way as I did these fingernails. And I know it looks horrible at the moment because of the latex around the nails. It will look a lot better later, I can assure you. Before I do my stamping, I'm actually going to put a top coat on top of these nails. Now, normally you would wait until you've actually done your stamping. The reason I'm not waiting is because I'm doing this on my dominant hand, and because I'm going in with a very thin layer of gel top coat here, by the way, because I'm going in with a gel, this is going to seal in my normal polish and protect this layer. Now, if I was doing this, by the way, to keep the manicure, I would make sure to cap the free edge. I haven't bothered because I'm obviously going to be peeling this off. And I'm now going to cure that. The reason I put the top coat on, a gel top coat, is because I'm working on my dominant hand. I know there is a possibility that I will mess up the stamping, and if I mess up the stamping, I can wipe off the polish without having to do any more to this part of the manicure. Otherwise, I would possibly end up ruining the entire lot. And also, I want to try different colours on different fingers, so if I want to take one lot off and change it, I can swap it around. Okay, my stamping plate is this one, which is a Born Pretty, and it's LO53. I'm going to be using this deep purple for the first one. So we'll see what this does. Now, this is not a stamping polish, but I happen to know that it usually stamps pretty well, so I'm quite happy to give it a shot. And non-dominant hand doing the swiping, which is rather weird for me. Okay, that's come out quite nicely, and press in, and there we go. Ooh, that's come out quite nicely. I like that. So that's the first colour I've tried, but I think I'm going to try a different colour on the next nail, just because I can. I'm going to use a white one for the next nail and see how this does, but I'm going to revert to using my right hand. I don't like doing things with my left hand very much. There we go. Best use that side to scrape. Oops, should have made sure that was clean. It's picked up beautifully, and there we go. It's pretty. I wasn't trying to centre it, by the way. I think a bit of variation is quite nice. If you have it exactly the same on all your fingernails, sometimes it can be a bit boring. And for this one, I'm going to use a dark sparkly. Now it is sort of black, but not quite, because it's got quite a lot of silver sparkle in it. But again, it's one of those that actually does work quite nicely as a stamping polish. I have found that quite a lot of polishes work really well as stamping polishes, as long as they are thick enough in the first place. There isn't usually a problem. So, yeah, that's fine. And I'll go for that area. There we are. So we have that one. We're doing well so far. It's just interesting to see what different effects you'll get just by altering the colour of the polish that you are stamping with. The reason I haven't prepped my left hand is because with the latex, it tends to stick together. If you put your fingers together, it will stick together, and it just makes it really kind of difficult to work with the other hand. So before I do anything else on my left hand, I'll be cleaning up this and taking off the latex. And if you have the time and you can afford the time to do it, you know, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, and let it dry for a few minutes before doing anything else. Now what I'm going to do is to apply a top coat of the gel again and then cure it for at least 60 seconds. And I'm going to wipe off the sticky layer with some alcohol. There we go, that's wiped off. Now you could leave it like that, apart from removing the latex obviously, but you can also give it a little bit of variation. I have here a polish which I've not tried, again it's not a gel polish, and if I were doing this to make it last I would put this on and then I would put a layer of gel polish over the top of it. I have to confess I really do prefer gel polish. It gives you far more working time. The normal polishes are fine for stamping, I don't have a problem with that. But for doing the rest of the work, you know, normal polishes take time to dry, gel polish can be zapped, and you get a more instant result. And I just think it is far easier to use, even you know if you're a novice, it's so much easier. You get so much more error correction opportunities with a gel than you do with a normal polish. To do my left hand, now that my right hand is done, I'm putting on a latex glove. So I've cut off the last bit of my sponge and I'm just going to start off with a clean slate with the same two polishes. I have put the glue layer on my nails, but I haven't bothered putting the latex on. So here we go. So that's really quick for the actual base coat. Now that in itself is quite a pretty look. I quite like that, and you could just top coat it and off you go. But obviously I'm going to be doing some stamping on that hand as well, and I'll come back and show you the results when it's all done. I've got both hands done for a change. So here's the finished set of nails, and all I've done is applied a little cuticle oil. So there we are.